Oh, what's up, everybody? I'll make this real nice and quick. Got the Nissan running. Walk around in here. Matter of fact, waiting on the customer to come and get it. That's a good thing. Run really good. The machine shop did a wonderful job. Took a little bit for the lifters to pump up, though. It was a little clacky for a little bit, but after a while, it warmed up and everything. When I drove it, it smoothed out and ran great. So that's a good thing. Another great thing, though. Check this out. So a while back, Sidney Powell was being sued by the fax machines that people put their papers in to pick the people. So, well, they were filed a lawsuit against her, and it was an extremely large lawsuit. It was $2.7 billion. And that thing was thrown out today by the judge in New York. So that's a good thing. Sidney Powell knew that it wasn't going to hold water anyways, but it's a scary thing when you live in a dual-tier justice system. But I'll link that in the description of the video. You can check it out. After a train wreck of a process of people picking in Texas, people picking selections, people poppers, hope the algorithm can get that. Isabel Longoria has to resign. I'll link that in the description. I'll read a little bit about it. Last week we reported on a train wreck of a thing that happened when we picked the people's leaders. One reader shared the following comments from an experience during the process. AOC light. Apparently they making fun of that, I guess. Here, let's read about this here. That means a watered down version of the mean AOC that we see up there at the thing up there in Congress. Tried to deliberately sabotage, created chaos and all kind of different things in the primaries. I better not read too much because of the fact that I can't code all these words without stumbling over every other thing. So if you want to read more about how the thing was a train wreck in Houston, Texas, when they were choosing the people, you can read about it. But Longoria resigns. Isabel Longoria. She's no longer in that position. That's a good thing. So let's slide on a little bit right quick here and read a little more. Epic. Scott Pressler organizes voter registration drive at New York gas stations. Hey, that's good. Chinese hackers reportedly identified hacking 6 State Department entities and European entities as well. Not the good stuff yet. There's some more stuff here. Oh, documents reveal U.S. report defense was funding Ukraine things that have to do with labs. We'll just call it that. Labradors. The Ukraine Labradors. We'll call it, that's going to be our code word right here. I don't know how YouTube's going to take me doing much of this Ukraine stuff, but not taking sides on who's right in the war. But I am going to say that there's things coming out that I want to. This is what I'm talking about is because of the propaganda that we're experiencing right now. Excuse me. Let's see. I think I hear somebody. But the propaganda we're experiencing is in putting me in a position where I cannot figure out which way to go. So I'll just sort of only go on the information that makes me wonder why we're so involved, and still wonder. But this is stuff that I found. That there was Ukraine Labrador retrievers and being funded by the U.S. Russia releases a list of the biological agents tested in these Labrador retrievers, code word, and it includes a lot of things like salmonella, E. coli, anthrax, and the big bubonic black plague thing, all kind of stuff. And I'll link that in the description of the article so you can read more about it. But there's so much stuff coming out about what's going on and why things are so weird. And what it is Russia's accusing the U.S. of covering up violations of 1972 Biological Weapons Convention, calls to strengthen bioweapons treaty. So apparently, you got to remember, there's a lot of bad actors out there right now, and Ukraine was a nice little place off the map where all the lefties are standing, I stand with Ukraine. Not arguing that, but they need to know where it's at on the map. Okay. An embarrassed Blinken refuses Poland's offer of fighter jets after they call his bluff exposes fracture in NATO alliance, which means the NATO has nothing to do with Ukraine. That's a whole big thing, man. A lot of stuff going on in the media where they're just making it really hard for people to know where to stand, and that puts them into position to just jerk people all around. Today, Poland announced it would release immediately a free of charge its entire MiG-29 fleet of 28 aircraft to the United States to transfer to Ukraine. They've done that because they want to see what would happen. The transfers would take place at the Ramstein Air Base in Germany. Shortly after the Polish announcement, the U.S. Undersecretary of State Victoria Nuland told a Senate committee the Polish announcement caught the U.S. completely by surprise. And so I was in a meeting. I'm quoting this. I was in a meeting where I ought to have heard about that just before I came to Senate. But so I think I actually was surprised by the Polish people is what she's talking about. Is that even like race? That's kind of racist to call them just Poles because you're not allowed to call. Anyways, we won't go in that either. So it's the left; they can do whatever they want. Uh, how could NATO do allies to be disconnected and out of touch? Simple. Anthony Blinken tried to shift blame for Ukraine's lack of weapons to Poland. Poland called his bluff. Yep. So what it is, when you're weak at your job and you don't perform well at your job, you're going to find an out. You need a good out man. You need a good man that you can put everything on. And they think that Polish people, I guess because of all the jokes, how many people it takes to screw in a light bulb, maybe, I don't know, maybe that's what the left was thinking, that they wouldn't be able to put two and two together, but they did, and they realized just how weak this whole thing is and called us out on our own bluff. Well, not us as me, because I wouldn't even be, this would be a whole scenario different. The uncovered web pages show Barack Obama led an effort to build a Ukraine-based Labrador retriever handling especially dangerous pathogens. There's a lot of stuff now coming out. Breaking Arizona gubernatorial candidate files amicus brief in AZ GOP Katie Hobbs to ban unconstitutional drop boxes and no excuse mail-in voting in Arizona, which they need to. They need to no more drop boxes. And that's pretty much it right now. There's more. There's going to be a whole lot more coming out about these Labrador retrievers that everybody's talking about. I did a video earlier with a lady that in Congress. She's one of the directors of all this stuff, and of course Marco Rubio asking all the softball questions. He gets called out on that by Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon's like, come on, dude. Who paid you to ask these questions? Was it the CIA or was it the Secret Service? Because of the fact that there was so much watered down. I mean, the information came out, but it sure wasn't like we were hoping because of the fact that we had these people under congressional hearing where it's recorded. It's not under oath, but it is recorded. So, but more will come out. Things will turn around. Don't worry a thing about all this fancy stuff because you know why? God is in control. Y'all have a very good evening. I love y'all very much. Goodbye.